Hello, everybody. Does the IOC still do DMCAs if you just call your stream something with the word Olympics in it? We're here ranking the Summer Games at the event with the rings. But it's a little bit gauche. It's a little bit old hat to be like, I love watching field hockey, you know? So here's how I was thinking would be a fun lens to rank these. We got 5 tiers. I'm going to rank them by my own personal acumen. And also, my risk of being injured or killed while attempting these events. Because some of these events I could definitely complete. And some of them, I believe, if I tried to compete in them, I would suffer physical injury and perhaps never recover. So I don't know, is this all the sports? Whatever, it's enough. And we can kind of infer from the logo what it is. So I'm going to call this like the bottom tier. I'm going to say attempting will result in injury or death. And then I think I'm trying to think of what would be the good S tier because I think I've got the rest like locked in, okay? This one is like I could complete this event without being injured. I think B is I could beat the average 12-year-old in this event. I could beat the average 35-year-old in this event. I think that's as good as we could do. Oh, no, you know what? I know what we do. Okay, so this, hang on. We got to move everything like up a tier. Like this. And then I think this one is I could not complete the event. Because there's events that I personally think that I probably just... I could do it without being killed, but I would probably not be able to actually do the requisite amount. Like, for example, I don't think I could run a marathon right now. I might be able to finish it with just walking, but there's like I do not think, for example, that I don't know what this is, speed climbing. I don't think I could do this in. I don't think I could complete this event. Fix the colors. No, I'm not worried about all of that, to be honest with you. The tiers are reversed. No, they're not. They're just the colors are reversed. You'll get over it. You got nothing to worry about. This is you don't need the colors to like symbologically tell you if they're good or bad, because there's text that literally tells you explicitly whether it's good or bad, okay? Now, I will say before we get started here, maybe like this, and then I could put myself like right there. Okay. If you can't complete an event, neither could an average 35-year-old. Yeah, I get it. You're an engineer. This is all for like entertainment. You don't have to worry about it too much, all that much, to be honest. Do some of the categories have like, is there a Venn diagram where there's a little bit of overlap between them? Yes, we're going to use something called dealer's choice, poetic license, in order to place it in the area that I feel most appropriate, whether for humor or alternatively for merit, I suppose. Okay. 3x3 basketball. I think this is a given. Could I complete the 3x3 basketball event? Yes. Could I beat the average 12-year-old? Maybe a few weeks ago, I might have said yes. But didn't Ludwig post a video where Slime went up against a 10-year-old in basketball and the 10-year-old sort of rinsed him? I didn't watch the video, but I think the implication was that he got rinsed by the 10-year-old. So me personally, that was a prodigy though. Still, I'm being honest with myself. I certainly at best a below average 35-year-old basketball player. And I feel like a 12-year-old has an advantage in basketball because they're in a gym class and they have like recess where they're playing it probably like 100 times more frequently than I am. So realistically, I think I probably lose to the average team of 12-year-olds in a 3x3 basketball event. But I don't know because I've never played basketball where I have an advantage in defense. You know what I mean? Like I've never played basketball where I wasn't like one of the shortest dudes on the court. So I don't know if maybe like if it was a team of 35-year-olds against a team of 12-year-olds, maybe we just rinse them based on height. But then also there's a lot of like tall 12-year-olds out there now, man. So I felt like when I was in Korea is like I was taller than everybody that I saw that was like 40 plus, and I was shorter than everybody that was like 12 to 25. Like I don't know if it's nutrition or like human growth hormone in the milk or whatever, but they're getting tall these days, man. I think I lose this, okay? Archery, you might call this like you might call this a little bit of a I'm artificially placing it. I honestly don't think I could complete the event. As like I could go up there and stand, but I don't think I could pull back the arrow with enough force to hit the target in 18 pulls. I think that like I'm not from Wales. I don't have that kind of like I don't have the strength in my forearm to pull that back, and I certainly don't think I could aim. So I'm going to take me personally, I think zeroing out means that I could not complete the event. Now, this is important, okay? This is gymnastics, but what kind of gymnastics is it? If this is just gymnastics in general, hang on, I'm looking. I don't see any other gymnastics. I think that I could, well, this one's tough. It's either, I would say without a doubt, the best I could do is not complete the event, which is to say, I don't think I can get on the high bar, and I certainly think if I got on the high bar, I could not do a rotation. I don't think my wrists would allow me to do a rotation on the pommel horse. I think I would eat the vault like right in the center of my solar plexus if I took a running start at it. I would go ahead and say, like the floor routine, I could do something on the floor routine without dying, but it wouldn't be impressive. So to be honest, I think I got to say like attempting this would result in injury. Probably not death, but injury for certain. Some of that stuff, I mean, it's pretty amazing what people are able to do in gymnastics. You see that American guy who was, they had him on the team just so he could ult on the pommel horse. Bro was sleeping for like 3 hours. They poked him a little bit. He woke up, nailed the pommel horse, and got America the bronze medal. The Olympics got some great moments, man. It's kind of sick. You can see the gymnast on the Canadian team who looks just like Ludwig. He even kind of sounds like Ludwig, which makes me think that actually, like, he has grown up watching Ludwig. You might not know him if you haven't been watching Canadian Olympic entertainment, because we came 8th in the men's floor routine, which is last. But it's last of the best, I guess. It's better than coming 9th, I suppose. But he does, right? He does look like Ludwig. I'll tell you, if you watch this CBC, you would think that like Canada is rinsing everybody else in the Olympics. It's like 9 hours of just Canadian wins, and then you check the medal count, and you're like, what the fuck? We got like 3 medals. South Korea, China, and Japan have like 32 medals already. You would think like Canada's taking on the world, man. Although I did see part of that Canada versus France women's basketball game where like it was 18-18, and then France scored literally like 20 unanswered points and then just ran the table on us. I don't really know the relative rankings of women's basketball teams. I'm going to assume that America's probably number 1. Anyway, long story short, let's move on. This is synchronized swimming, right? Yes, okay. That's kind of a tough one to answer because much like 3x3, I kind of like need a partner for that. I feel like all 3 of these are sometimes like exactly the same. Like if in some events, if I could beat the average 35-year-old, I could beat the average 12-year-old. In some events, if I could beat the average 12-year-old, I could beat the average 35-year-old. But I think I would definitely complete synchronized swimming without being injured. I certainly would not drown. I can swim and I could put my arm up in the air and like go under the water. Now, would it look good? No, it would look horrible. I've never done synchronized swimming, but I definitely would not drown. I could complete this event without being injured. Track and field, let's just call this like 100 to 400 meter dash. I'm just being real with you. We're talking the average. I beat the average 12-year-old and the average 35-year-old in track. I got the cardio. I got the VO2 max. I got the low resting heart rate. I got the optimal blood pressure. This one's not even, and the average 12-year-old might be the average 35-year-old in track, but you're right, I'm a Peloton merchant, okay? No way you beat a 12-year-old at running. It wouldn't even be close. A 12-year-old's legs are like, I don't even know how to describe it. They're completely smooth. There's no ripples or anything. I've got the legs of like Major Kusanagi when she rips the head off the spider tank at the end of Ghost in the Shell, okay? I'm not trying to flex. But the quads are quadding. The human growth hormone has been released from the pituitary gland, and I be hitting progressive overload 5-6 days a week on the bike. Okay, like this. Not to mention they're carrying around my like 170-pound body every day. Trust me, this one's not even close. I'm rinsing the average. By the way, have you been outside in North America? These are not 12-year-olds in like 1982. Where they were doing track and field like 10 hours a day, okay? They're on their iPads, they're playing Fortnite, they're being driven to like Math Academy 6 days a week, okay? I'm rinsing the average 12-year-old. Are there faster 12-year-olds than me? Without a doubt. The average 12-year-old, I don't even know if they could finish a 100-meter race, okay? Without walking. So I'm taking them. Don't even worry about that. Now, badminton's another one where I'm like, there's no shot I'm not completing the event. Like I could complete the event without being injured as a given. I play a little bit of tennis, but I'm not great at it, and I don't know how transferable that is to badminton. I do think, though, if I'm being honest, I think I beat the average 12-year-old in badminton. Hey, Indie Mouse, thank you for the subscription. Welcome, Indie Mouse. Congratulations to Australia on your performance in the games so far. I think honestly, I'm putting some heat on it. I think I might be the average 35-year-old in badminton. Just by my organizing premise is that I have better cardio than the average 35-year-old. It's probably a push in racket skills. I think I could take the average 35-year-old in that. Baseball. Now, again, this is a team sport. So I'm imagining a team of me's against a team of 12-year-olds, basically. And if I'm being honest with you, I mean, hitting is no joke. We're gonna be knocking balls out of the park. If they're throwing, like 60-mile-an-hour fastballs, with our adult bodies, we're going yard on those, okay? That being said, every once in a while, I'm at the park and there's baseball diamonds there. Sometimes when they're playing catch, the ball goes out of the diamond. I always run over and try to throw it back and realize that I haven't thrown a baseball in 20 years and the throw is horrendous. And then I have to apologize to the kids I was trying to throw it back to. So I do think that on fielding, my team would really, really struggle to get 3 outs. So I would honestly go ahead and say that I think a team of 12-year-olds would probably rinse me. Just to be honest, I think we got no defense. I can catch, but I've lost the ability to throw. Now, similarly, I think that 5x5 basketball, 3x3 basketball, I'm going to keep those adjacent just because it seems to make sense. This is beach volleyball. Beach volleyball is kind of interesting. I feel like the average person would, or maybe, is it water polo? You might be right. No, this is emoji for sand. Water polo is going to have like, well, is this riding a horse on water? I guess there's no consistency in this world. This is water polo, I think. Even though there's no water, because that's not volleyball, because they're holding the ball. That's handball? That's illegal. Anyway, whatever, we'll figure it out. It's on the bottom row. Ah, that's water polo. Okay. Can I ask you, what is this? Yoga? That's fencing? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see it. I thought, no, this is fencing. Unless there's like a foil and ipe or whatever in the... What is this then? Is softball in the Olympics? I'm learning a lot, honestly. It looks like softball because they're doing the windmill pitch, but I didn't know softball was in the Olympics. It isn't anymore, but it was in 2020. Okay. They literally, is so embarrassing. They took it out. They put it on as a demonstration sport and then said, nah, we're not vibing with this. Fuck you, Jenny Finch. They're bringing it back in 2028. The French don't fuck with softball? Like, what's going on, man? What's the bottom left? Surfing? I think. Diving? You don't dive with a paddleboard. That's diving? Oh, that's their legs. Okay, that's diving. You got me. There's no skateboarding on this list. I thought I saw a skateboard grinding on a railing somewhere. There is. Yeah, there is. Check it out. Okay, anyway, we got to move on here. We're getting distracted. It's to your left. That's your right? Nah, kid, I'm inverted. Beach volleyball. I really don't know where to place this one, to be honest with you. I could play beach volleyball without getting injured. My wrists might hurt a little bit, but I'm not gonna break a bone or tear something on average. I think honestly, we're generating a little heat on this one. I think we could beat the average 12-year-old in beach volleyball. I can jump higher than the average 12-year-old. I'm at least a little bit taller. I've got longer arms, which just seems like an advantage for bumping. This is mountain biking so this is downhill biking. This is like the velodrome, and this is BMX. I think in BMX, attempting this event will result in injury or death. I got pretty strong cycling fundamentals, but anytime I'm going to have to do like some jumping, some platforming at speed, I'm going to fall down and die. It's cyclocross. I think that's even worse, right? Like, isn't that downhill, like 4 racer heats where you like bump into each other and stuff? Like that one, I'm pretty sure leads to me falling off my bike and breaking a bone for sure. Now, let me tell you, boxing, at a minimum, I'm rinsing the average 12-year-old. I got a reach advantage, probably a weight advantage, probably a fitness advantage. Like this would be ugly. Do not drop me into a 6th grade boxing competition. I'm gonna come in the top half, okay? I'm making the cut to play in the whole weekend. Now, average 35-year-old, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if I feel confident saying that I could beat the average 35-year-old. Listen, I have to put 35-year-old man because that's how they do it in the Olympics as well. I'm not comfortable going high. This is not, it says average 35-year-old. It doesn't say average Olympian. I probably could, but I don't feel confident putting myself in there just because you never know. I feel like people are like the average 35-year-old, drinks like 20 beers a week. I don't think that's true. I think you have a distorted average. But that being said, the average 35-year-old may have been in fights when they were like 16 years old and have some experience with hand-to-hand combat, whereas I don't, outside of like Rumbleverse. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to keep myself in the I could beat the average 12-year-old in this event, okay? Assume the average 35-year-old is like Dan. You guys need to leave your houses. First off, Dan's not 35. Secondly, he's like in the top 10% of fitness for like his age and my age. You need to go to like Target on a Saturday at 11 a.m. and then tell me that Dan is the average like 40-year-old. Then I want to be clear. That's why I put average here, okay? Because it gives us like a baseline that we can work with. In North America, no offense, but if I could beat the average 35-year-old American in an event, I'm rinsing the average 35-year-old like Luxembourgian. In boxing, it's over for you. I'm sorry. It's quite, like, know your place, okay? You can insult Canada, you can insult the United States of America, but don't forget who's on top in men's basketball right now, okay? No shot. I would go sport for sport with the average Luxembourgian. Do they beat us in cycling? Yes. Do they beat us in taking 6 weeks off every summer to enjoy a vacation while having optimal work-life balance? Yeah, without a doubt. Ice hockey, welcome to hell. Do you even know how to skate? Do they even make skates there? That's what I thought. Yes, we make skates. Okay. Yeah, sure you do. No skates. No skates, no Chipotle, no Chick-fil-A. What are you even doing over there? Luxembourg is higher latitude than Vancouver. Okay, somebody better tell like the ice then. Maybe they should have the Winter Olympics there. Okay, this is canoeing. Or like this is this is team canoe. This is individual kayak. Individual kayak, I'll tell you, I know that it takes place in like a flowing river. I think that I could do it without dying, but I could not complete the event. I could not reliably get through the gates. I could not complete the spirit of the event, at least. I've kayaked before. I don't think I'm getting injured, man. Like I've kayaked before. Could you die? Yes. I probably won't die. I'm definitely not like putting down a time, but I think I could certainly complete the event. Have you seen the river they go down? I know all about fucking Hackney Downs or whatever it's called, Piccadilly Circus. I know all about that. You're forced to wear a life vest? Exactly. Well, no, I think I could not complete the event. If I tip over, it's over, but I'll live. I don't think I'm getting injured. I think I'd be all right. Team canoeing? Or is this rowing? I don't know. Is this paddle boarding? Holy cow, what is this? They're throwing a sonic boom out there. Canoe sprint? I would go ahead and say, yet again, I don't think I could complete this event. I've never really done it. And I think I would go out too hard and then be completely gassed like 10% of the way through the event. If it was a team of me's, I think we're not making it, to be honest with you. You would probably have to be rescued. Yeah, I don't know if you can like turn those things. Can I turn to go to the shore and take a little break? Let's just be honest. From the icon. So this is like trick. By freestyle BMX, attempting this will result in injury or death. Even going up the ramp and then trying to come back down would probably lead to a dismount. So I think I'm probably dying in that one without a doubt. And then this is downhill BMX or cyclocross. in which case I would also probably die or be injured. Yeah, I think I would. That's downhill mountain biking. Yeah, I think I'd certainly be injured. That might be the scariest one of all of them. You're going over like rocks and stuff. You're going over. Don't they ride on those like those wooden bridges that have like the cambered turns and stuff like that? But you think you can kayak? The thing is, with the kayak, the river's pushing me along a little bit, but I can still like use my paddle to slow my descent. Whereas on the mountain bike, I mean, I can hold the brakes, but as soon as I hit like a pebble, I'm going ass over tea kettle, man. Like, it's over for me. Isn't that true? Yeah, and mountain biking is like as soon as you hit the brakes, it's over. Also, I think I learned how to ride a bike wrong. Did anybody else grow up being told that you never use the front bikes on your bike because if you jam on the brakes, you'll do a nose wheelie and then fall over the front? Then you get older and you find out that actually you're just supposed to use both. Like, I feel like they taught me the heuristic of like never use the front brake, and then they're like, we'll get back to that in advanced lessons, and then they just sort of forgot about it, man. They never taught me the advanced braking technique. Now, diving, I'm torn on diving. Do I think I could beat the average 35-year-old in diving? I think we could tie, for sure, with like a 0.0. I definitely feel like I would lose to the average 12-year-old simply because I weigh more, so they're more likely to survive hitting the water. I don't think... see, here's why I'm torn, okay? If I jumped off the diving board and went into the water intentionally legs first, I've completed the event, and I'm living. And gravity's doing all the work for me. If I jump and attempt to dive head first, I definitely think there's a high risk of injury or death. Probably injury, but maybe death. I think the spirit of this is that we would attempt the sport in good faith, in which case I think that attempting it would result in injury or death. Could I cheat the system with like a loophole and live? Probably. But I don't think that's what we're going for here. I disagree. It's tall, right? It's like 20 meters up there or something. It's crazy. It's 22 to 27 meters. That's fucked up, dude. That's crazy. I don't even know if I could climb a 20-meter tall ladder without my legs shaking. Just from the height, man. 3 meters you could do. Yeah. 3 meters, no problem. I'm not doing any flips or anything, but okay. Both horse riding events, I'm just going to be honest with you. I know this one you just kind of like trot around. This is dressage, right? It's like making the horse walk all goofy to demonstrate mankind's superiority over other species. And this is like the agility course, the Germa agility course. Both of these, I think I get thrown from the horse and injured, possibly kicked in the head and killed. Even though this one is not at speed, I think just being on the horse is going to know that like this guy doesn't have control over me and he's going to bump me off and maybe like teabag me. So I think like these are both, I'm cooked on both of these. Field hockey, I feel confident. This one's a bit weird, but like mechanically speaking, I feel like I definitely complete the event without being injured. But I feel like the average 12-year-old team might beat me because they're closer to the ground, which means that they don't have to bend over as much for the stick to hit the ball. And when you hit 35, like, you start to really feel it when you're bending over for that long. So I sort of feel like if you're on the younger side, like you have a bit of an advantage here. Also, I do feel like I have to say, like 12-year-old, some people in chat are talking like a 12-year-old kid is like like a 5-year-old. In any of these sports, I'm beating a 5-year-old. I'm beating like 100 5-year-olds at the same time. But like a 12-year-old, they've been on the earth long enough to like get some practice. They got a little bit of exercise in recess and gym class and stuff like this, but like, maybe the top should be like, could I beat the average like 22-year-old or something like that? Okay, maybe I couldn't beat 100 5-year-olds in skateboarding, but 15-year-old is like peak physicality? What are you to know? It's not, man. Like for okay, maybe in the normal populace, okay, like in the average populace of people who graduate high school, then go to college and then work like a white collar job, yeah, probably like 18, 19 is like your physical peak because they're forcing you to do sports and exercise in school for a while at least. But like, there's a reason that, you know, the best professional athletes in the world are like 20 to usually like 28 years old, I think. 15 is crazy. Like if you throw a 15-year-old LeBron James into the NBA, dude's putting up like 2 points a game, I think. Anyway, 15 is like esports or women's street skateboarding, apparently, where the average age was like 16. Anyway. So why wouldn't you beat the average 12-year-olds in hockey? Because they're closer to the ground, man. They're closer to the ground so they don't have to bend over as much. And they got less wear and tear on their joints. So the best hockey players are shorter? No, but they're professional hockey players, man. That's the difference. These are average motherfuckers. We haven't trained for this shit, man. I'm telling you, I think the kids will impress you in this one because they don't have to bend over as far to get their sticks on the ball. Hey, you can make your own list if you want, okay? Fencing, I'll be honest with you. Fencing kind of falls in the gap between these two, okay? Because I could definitely complete the event and lose. But I definitely think I would be injured. Because I have, it depends on your definition of injury, I guess. I have 2 nieces that are really into fencing. And like whenever they come over, they're like, hey, check out these bruises that I got from fencing. And I'm like, damn, they're really letting like 9-year-olds get the shit kicked out of them at fencing class, right? Like even though they got the Vega mask on and they got the suit on and stuff like that, and then the swords are like blunt, like they get bruises that are like that big. It's insanity, man. So I mean, I get hurt for sure. I don't know if I'd call it an injury. I feel like an injury is something that means I could not continue. Otherwise, I would never be able to complete like any of these. Like if an injury that forces me to withdraw. I fenced for years. I never got bruises. Damn, you must be like in the Olympics right now then. You never got hit? That's crazy. Listen, I'm not trying to call your fencing into question because I don't know the level you fenced at. I went to one of their practices once and their coach was literally J.K. Simmons from Whiplash. So if you're going to tell me that these kids are fencing wrong, you got to take it up with this like 5'4" guy from France who was like screaming at 9-year-olds, okay? I think this motherfucker knew what he was doing. There were like 100 pictures of him in the gym and in every single one he looked like this. He had arms, he was like, there's no smiles at all. So this guy, I'm saying you could fence right and still get bruises, okay? Well, in that case, yeah. Well, I don't know. No, because I got so much more reach than the average 12-year-old. Yeah. 35-year-old, I'm just not confident. I'm not confident, but I definitely think I'm... But then, wait, isn't being short... I don't want to say it's an advantage in fencing, but it gives you an asymmetry that you can exploit if you know what you're doing, right? Not really? Reach usually wins. Okay. Soccer? Here's my base case here, okay? My base case is that adult men will be better than 12-year-old boys in sports where musculature by default gives you an insane advantage. In soccer, I think just being 50 to 100 pounds heavier on average doesn't really give you much of an advantage unless you really know how to put that weight into the ball when you're striking it. So I feel like, to be honest with you, a team of average 12-year-olds probably beats a team of me's in soccer. Don't get me wrong, like the cardio is good, but I don't know what I'm doing with the ball, to be honest with you. I don't think I have any control with the passes or the strikes or even the dribbling. And also, if we're talking about North America, we got soccer culture here, but it's taken like a long time to actually flower, right? Like most kids, they play a little bit of soccer until they're like 7 or 8, and then they fuck off to like other sports. If we're going up against, European, South American, or Asian 12-year-olds, I'm getting cooked, man. Now, do we win it back in ice hockey? No question. That's not even a contest. It's probably they'd have to pull the mercy rule, to be honest with you. But in soccer, yeah, I think on average we'd run into trouble. Golf. I think that the average 35-year-old definitely beats me in golf because my golf experience is 0. And the median 35-year-old man has at least 1 minute of golf experience. So I think that's a given. I think the 12-year-olds, honestly, it's 50-50. I definitely feel like I could complete the event. There's no way I'm getting injured. I don't think I know what I'm doing well enough to get injured hitting the golf ball. I have hit a golf ball. I've been golfing 3 or 4 times in my life. They were all like 15 years ago. There's a mercy rule. Does that, if you hit the stroke limit, does that count as a DNF? And what is the stroke limit? Because if I had to guess, so like what is 18 holes is like a par, like 72 or something like that? Oh, there's a stroke limit per hole. Well, that still counts as finishing it, though. Yeah, there's no shot I'm not finishing the event then. They're not going to give you a DNF. They're just going to give you like a 14 times 18 is your score and tell you to never come back. I definitely finished the event. Handball, this is kind of a technicality. I could not compete in the event because I don't know the rules. It doesn't seem like it is that dangerous, but I don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, we don't really play that stuff in North America. All you do is throw the ball? What do you mean, though? You grab the ball and throw the ball? I'm putting it here because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to touch the ball with my feet, and then a bunch of like Swedish guys are going to execute me or something. I don't trust myself to be here. I would recuse myself. I don't think I could complete this event. They would kick me off the team. Judo, attempting this will result in injury or death. Now, I feel like Olympian martial artists, they would realize very quickly that they outmatch me by a factor of 100. But on the first throw, before they knew my power level, whatever they did would probably cause me to have to withdraw from the competition, if not be paralyzed for life. So I'm going to just be realistic about that one. I think attempting this would result in injury or death. They could tell from your stance. Oh, really? Really? When I walked up and hit him with one of these? They'd probably be scared, dude. They'd be like, oh shit, I'm going up against DJ. That's boxing? You can use whatever stance you want, I think. Victorian fisticuffs. The trapezoidal weights. Jumping over anything on a horse, I would be killed. I would be injured at a minimum. Now, what is this? Tai Chi? Karate? Karate is a non-contact sport, right? Isn't it just like breaking boards and LARPing about like beating up a bully in the alley behind your school? Is there really karate in the Olympics? I'm going to make some people very upset when I say this, but like, I thought karate was kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I thought it was kind of like cardio martial arts. Like you do it to stay in shape and like throw some strikes, but you don't actually make contact with your opponent. Because I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but I remember Kate telling me, she's like, I'm pretty strong. Like when I was a kid, I was in Taekwondo and I was like a yellow belt or something. I don't know what belt she was. And I was like, before I knew what Taekwondo was, I was like, whoa, that sounds like pretty serious. Like I thought it was like Krav Maga or something like that. Then you actually like see Taekwondo and it's like a bunch of 10-year-olds that are like posted up. And then the coach goes like, do something. And they go, ha! And you're like, you're not breaking that shit out if you end up getting into a brawl or something like that. That's a North American thing. This shit was in Korea, man. This is in South Korea, like the birthplace of Taekwondo. And then what is this? Because isn't this karate? This looks like Morpheus versus Neo, man. Judo is the throwing, that you throw them with the belt. One of these is, there's demonstration karate, and then there's that's Taekwondo. This doesn't make any sense to me, man. First one is kata, which is non-contact. Okay, well, if the first one is kata, which is non-contact, I could complete this event without being injured. I don't think I could beat the average 12-year-old because that's like the prime demographic for karate, I think. Not to be rude. I think it's just like if you run a martial arts academy, probably like your average karate patron is like 9. So this seems like the further away you get from that, like the more in trouble I would be. Could I beat the average 35-year-old? I don't think so. Because like I never took karate, and maybe like the median 35-year-old took it for like a year or something like that. And then this is sparring. Basically anything with hand-to-hand combat, I would be killed, I think. Or not killed, but immobilized. Disarmed. Now, am I correct in the assumption? Probably not, now that I look at it. Is this like triathlon? This is marathon swimming? Open swim. What is open swim? Oh, triathlon's definitely at the bottom. It's in the, okay, no, I recognize it as outside. What's the length? 10 kilometers? Okay, I need to ask some kinematic questions about this. Because this one is kind of like a technicality. There's no shot I'm completing a 10-kilometer swim. That's a given. So let's just start with here. But I don't think I'm going to drown because they will rescue me. Like there's going to be boats like following the athletes around, and I'll go like, hello, please take me out. But I don't think that's a technicality. You might say like there's people around in all the sports. Yeah, but like no referee is stopping me from breaking my neck in the 27-meter dive. Like they would have to be the Flash. So I think I'll definitely take a DNF on this one. I would not die, but I could not complete the event. That's a given. So this is like the pentathlon, the modern pentathlon. I'll just keep it simple. There's a horse riding event in this one. I would be injured or killed. That's a given. Now, rhythmic gymnastics, to me, there's no risk of injury on average. Maybe I turn an ankle, but I could like nut up and finish the routine. I honestly think I'm more graceful than the average 35-year-old man. I walk on my toes. I got hops. I honestly think I would look pretty good in the gymnast outfit. I think the average 35-year-old North American man, I beat them in this event. Now, to be fair, I probably lose to the average 12-year-old because I don't think I'm, like, they're probably doing like somersaults and stuff. But I definitely, like, just to be honest, I think I could beat the average 35-year-old in rhythmic gymnastics. You could do a somersault with a little bit of practice, yeah. That's about it, though. Now, this finally, cycling in the velodrome, it's not even a contest. This is peak for me. The average 35-year-old is getting cooked in this. The average 12-year-old is getting cooked in this. This is like basically level ground. There's no gravity working against me. This is road cycling. It doesn't matter. They're cooked. The bicycle moves. This is the velodrome. Oh, you're right. It doesn't matter. They're done. As long as I'm in control of the speed instead of Isaac Newton being in control of the speed, it's over. I know how to steer. I've ridden bikes, man. You got nothing to worry. The average 35-year-old. I'm telling you that we're doing salami slicing here. This is a take that's going to give me a lot of -2s. I have no problem seeing cyclists on the road. Every time I see a cyclist on the road, I do think to myself, first, emotionally, I'm like, but I could be going 5 kilometers an hour faster. But then I think, but if these guys weren't on their bikes, they would probably be in cars. And then I would be like 250 meters back because there would be like way more traffic on the road. Like yesterday was the first day in the summer where it really rained all day. And when I went to pick up my daughter from daycare, it took me a lot longer to get to the daycare because instead of cycling, more people were driving. So I had like way more traffic to deal with. And I realized that even though the cyclists sometimes make you go a little bit slower than you want to go, it pays for itself in the fact that they're not in cars, slowing everybody else down as well. That being said, I always try to like clock their speed by matching them to my speedometer. The average 35-year-old isn't even out there on the road. The 35-year-olds that are out there on the road, they are sending their best. And the best is not good enough, okay? Now, I understand that they're commuting to work. They're not trying to compete in like the Tour de France or something like that. But there's a lot of times out there when I'm like, you're not even pedaling. Like, you're coasting on a flat, man. You're coasting on a flat. Get a life, okay? Get an e-bike or something like that. I'm the average 35-year-old, I'm taking them to the mat, okay? It's over. You don't want to be drenched with sweat at work. It's done. I'm saying if they spent as much time on the trainer in the winter as they spent on Amazon looking up the goofy-ass USPS helmet that they wear when they're doing like 17 kilometers an hour at 6:15 a.m. on Sunday morning, that would serve them a lot better, okay? Got your own custom brewed maltodextrin beverage in your beverage holder, doing 8 kilometers an hour on an open road. Come on, dude, I'm in zone 2. You're getting taken to the mat. It's over, okay? Now, are there better 35-year-old cyclists than me? Probably. They're in the Olympics right now. But the average, I would bet everything I have that we crush the average here, as long as they're not Dutch. Now, pairs fishing, pairs canoeing, pairs kayaking. I could not complete the event. That's a given. If anything, the team row I stand a better chance in because my maladroitness is diluted by the fact that there's more people. If there's only two, my opponent is going to kill me. Or not, my teammate is going to kill me, I mean. You just row on the beat. I don't think I could complete the event. I think I would be gassed. It's a different kind of cardio, man. The biking, like at this, I know you think like the cardio is transferable, and in some ways, I think it is. Like I think you can go like biking to running, and for the most part, you're like your heart and lungs are doing the same thing. But like as soon as you involve a considerable amount of like upper body musculature, I'm like, it's a different ball game, man. It's more anaerobic, I think. Just pretend to row. I think if I have to drop the oars, that counts as me not completing the event. You push with your legs, though. Listen, my foundation for this is like I'm in a boxing class right now, and I thought that I was gonna I basically thought the coach was gonna be like, "Holy cow, who is this guy who's not even sweating during the boxing class because his cardio is so good?" I was humbled very quickly, like 40 minutes into the 60-minute boxing lesson. I was like, "Holy shit, this is like a completely different ball game, man." Like the lungs and the heart were doing okay, but the arms and the shoulders and the lats were hurting like a son of a gun. So I think that it's naive. It's like the same way I hate when people are like, "I'd probably win a boxing match because like I'm 6'2" and they're 6 feet." Like you don't know what you're doing with it, man. That's me in the boxing class. I was like, "Oh, I do a lot of cardio, so I'd probably be like the best boxer in the class." And then after like 50 minutes of boxing, he's like, "Do a push-up," and I'm like, "Literally, I can't." You know, I think you got to be honest about your physical abilities. Having not really rowed, I don't think I'm completing the distance of the rowing event, man. I don't think it can be. I don't think I could. I don't know how long it is, but I don't think I'm contributing to completing the event. Let's put it that way. It's 2 kilometers. Nah, man, it's not happening. With a month of training, sure. I'll be honest with you, rugby, I'm beating the, I don't know where I placed it. Where's rugby? Where did my rugby go? I've deleted it from the CSS somehow. Chat, where did it go? It's 3rd in DNF. There it is. It's right under your mouse pointer. I'm rinsing the average 12-year-old. You're getting hurt? Not against 12-year-olds. Copium? What do you? They should be scared. There's a reason 12-year-olds don't compete against 35-year-old men in rugby. This tier list doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. By that logic, judo should be up there. Nah, I don't think so. It's not as funny this way. In rugby, I'm beating the average 12-year-old. Now, am I beating the average 35-year-old? In this case, I think no, because I think the average 35-year-old man in North America has 30 pounds on me, and I think that makes a big difference. If I get loose, I'm probably getting the score, okay? And neither of us are kicking the ball through the fucking uprights. This goofy ass fucking like durian shape or whatever. But I'm rocking a team of 12-year-olds. That's not even close. Parasailing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think I'm dying if I'm parasailing or windsurfing or whatever. I think I'm getting on the boat, falling off, and then swimming to the shore, which is probably like less than 100 meters away. If the boat hit me in the head, I'd probably die. But I think realistically, I'm probably just making it back to shore one boat down. It's a technical knowledge issue. Well, yeah, that's I don't even know what the event is really. It's kind of like a handball situation. I don't know if you're doing tricks or if it's like a race or whatever, but I'm definitely I'm definitely not completing the event because I don't think I could steer reliably. But I don't see this killing me because I'm not falling 30 meters into the water. Skeet shooting, I'll just keep it real with you. I could complete this event without being injured. Unless I hit myself, there's no shot. I don't even know if it would probably hurt, but isn't it like a rubber bullet or something? Could I beat the average 12-year-old? I have no reason to believe that I would be a better shooter than the average 12-year-old. I have no reason to believe that I would be a better shooter than the average 35-year-old. So just realistically, I think that this is where I'm most confident putting this. You're better than a 12-year-old here? I feel like being older and bigger and faster doesn't give you an advantage in a sport where it's driven by like perception and equipment, right? Zoomers don't know how to aim, but neither do you. First off, Zoomers are not 12. I think that's like fucking Gen Zeta Jones or whatever right now. But you're right. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying the average 12-year-old is going to be cracked because they play a lot of Fortnite. I'm saying like we're both going to be pure ass. I personally don't. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's anything that I can put in my pro column that guarantees that I'm elevated above the average 12 or 35-year-old. So I think that I'm comfortable. I complete the event for sure. Maybe I'd be better than the average 50-year-old because I wouldn't have to check my phone in between each shot because I have some mental. But you shot a gun before, like a 22. I don't know what you're shooting. Is this like a 50 cal? It's a bazooka. Street skateboarding. I have been injured or died while doing it, so I would definitely be injured or killed. I mean, at the height of my skateboarding abilities, which was around age 12 or 13, I could definitely get down a ramp without falling. And I could ollie, and that's about it. That's about it. I bought my skateboard at Canadian Tire. I told the story before. I did a nose stall on like the front step of my grandparents' house, and the trucks just fucking fell off. That's how shit the skateboard was. It was like $19 in the year 1999. So like, it was pretty cheap, but still. Could you ollie up a curb? Age 13? Yeah. Yeah, I could push to get enough speed and ollie onto a curb without falling off, and then immediately dismount and catch my breath. Age 35, not even. I'm trying to figure out where I fall. It's probably on the first push. Softball. Softball is an interesting one. I played softball for 10 years of my youth without really being great at it. So I could definitely complete the event without being injured. Let's be realistic. It's baseball. Like, it's not, the risk is relatively low. That's shot putting. Can you imagine if they did the Jenny Finch, man, on a shot put? That shit weighs like 12 pounds or something. That would be... Rip your rotator cuff, Kerry Wood. I feel like 12-year-olds are cracked at baseball. The average 12-year-old. Obviously, in the MLB, they're going to get washed or walked every time, but this is like, that's what they spend their whole summer doing if they're not playing Fortnite on iPad. So, Olympic shot put is 16 pounds? What? That's crazy, man. I guess now that I think about it, when you look at like an Olympic shot putter, they tend to be pretty big. Speed climbing, I'm not trying to put this on a technicality. I don't think I get injured because they have you on a harness. If you weren't on a harness, I probably am not dying. I'm just getting injured because I'm only getting like 2 handholds up before I slip. That's the only thing that saves me, is that I would fall so fast I couldn't really get into that much trouble. But like, I genuinely, I'm being humble but also honest. I don't think I could climb the entire wall. I think I would either, my forearms would get fatigued as I started making it up, or I would get scared and just hug the wall. I don't think I'm making it to the top, man. I'm not a good climber. Climbing is like, of my physical attributes, climbing is like a F tier for me. I wouldn't even put it in the D tier. I'm bottom heavy and I never really trained it. Plus, I am scared of heights. So I just, this is like my nightmare personally. I was thinking about joining a climbing gym, but it's tough because I don't like climbing. But I think that's kind of like why I want to do it, is to start liking climbing. And obviously it's like a great workout. And then the other thing is, oh no, someone said they're always insanely crowded. Because that's what I was going to say, is like, it's so fucking hard to play tennis. Because all the classes for adults that are at like reasonable hours are full. And then all the ones that aren't full are at like 8 a.m. on Wednesdays and shit like that. I was like, at least it's probably got lots of opportunities to do it. And then they're like, fuck, dude. Boulder outside? I'll die! I need to at least get like some practice with the, you know, a 23-year-old guy who lived in Hawaii for 5 years after he dropped out of high school. Like, I need him to teach me how to not die first. 6 p.m. on a weekday's packed at most gyms. Son of a bitch, man. Okay, surfing. I'm not completing the event. That's a given. I really don't. It's one of those things where I think I'm lucky that I'm not even close to good at it. I don't think I would die, man. Because I think I would paddle out on my stomach and then try to stand up and then fall down and then just like swim back to shore. If I was like a little good at surfing, the risk of death would be higher because I could actually get myself into trouble. But like, I think because I'm so ass at surfing, I couldn't really get myself out deep enough to not swim back to shore. I saw a pro almost die the other day. Yeah, because they're like hitting the waves, man. I don't think I'm even making it to the queue. As a result, how would I die? Like, I can swim. I don't know. I guess I should have mentioned that closer to the start of the segment. I wouldn't say I'm a great swimmer, but like, I can comfortably swim. So I don't think I'm really surfing, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't think I'm dying. It's in Tahiti this year? Where the fuck is Tahiti? Are the Olympics in France? They're doing the surfing in French Polynesia? Yo, but I bet that Athletes Village goes crazy, man. I thought it was crazy that they did the snowboarding stuff in Whistler when they had the Olympics in Vancouver. This shit is 9,000 miles away. Waves up to 7 meters. Again, I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to get hit because I'm not making it like, I'm not making it. Olympic surfing is the most dangerous sport? Yeah, if you're good at it. I know it sounds like counterintuitive, but I'm like, if you're ass at it, I think this is one of those sports that's like less dangerous if you're ass than if you're good. Because if you're good, you're getting on the wave. But if you're ass, you're not even making it to the lineup. So I don't see myself drowning, man. It's the same as climbing. If you're like decent at climbing, that's scary because you can get high up there. If you're pure shit at climbing, you might break your tailbone or something like that, but you're probably not dying. I think, where did I put this? I think I could not complete the event. That's a given, but I don't think attempting it would result in injury or death. Diving is like, of these sports, maybe the most dangerous, I think, to be complete ass at. Is that it's got to hit like concrete if you land like parallel, right? Downhill mountain biking also dangerous for sure. Gymnastics or mountain biking? I think gymnastics, I'm probably spraining a wrist. That's about it. Swimming. I could complete any non-outdoor swimming event without being injured. That's a given. 100 meters, 400 meters. I'm not setting a good time in either of them, but yeah, I'm definitely completing the event without getting injured. Now, I don't know the kinematics for a 12-year-old because like I take my daughter to swimming classes and it's all like 3-year-olds to 15-year-olds. Like that's like peak swimming time in your life. I think you can get some, again, this is not average, I guess. So I was just like, for my own personal metrics, you can get some pretty cracked like 12-year-olds just swimming. I got the musculature for sure versus a 12-year-old. And I don't know, 35 is weird because the only time I see the average 35-year-old man in water is like in a hot tub. You see like 60-year-old men doing laps in hotel pools from time to time, but then like, I feel like the average men in their 30s, like I don't think I've ever seen them parallel to the surface of the water. They're always perpendicular, standing up with like an aluminum bottle of Coors Light in a koozie. So I don't really know. I don't really know how to do this one. No average 12-year-old could do the butterfly stroke. Yeah, I can't do the butterfly stroke either. I mean, I could do it for like, 3 or 4 strokes, but then my ass is going to default to like the front crawl or something. I don't know. I feel like complete is fine. I feel like a 12-year-old could rinse me. Kids spend a lot of time in swimming pools relative to adults. As an adult, it's pretty rare for me to go to a swimming pool. Also, I don't even get to swim because like my daughter's like, take me into the pool, and then she needs someone to like supervise her 100% of the time. So I'm like, I could try to do like 2 lengths, but there is like a 30% chance that when I come back, I'm going to have to like dive to the bottom of the pool and get her. So I think I'm comfortable with it being there. Ping pong, also known as table tennis. I could complete it without being injured. I think that I would have said that I could beat the average 12-year-old in this event, but I'm at the community center now and then, and I always see like basically 12-year-old kids playing table tennis. No shot, bro. They are sending their best. They're going ape shit on the ping pong table. Foosball, I probably rinse them. They haven't been to college yet, but table tennis, I think I'm getting beaten. But I'm certainly, like, I'm completing the event, for sure. Jumping jacks? This is Taekwondo. This is karate again. This is this is kicking. I'm not trying to be a hater. I didn't realize Taekwondo was like a real contact sport. I thought you just punch while looking at yourself in the mirror. And kick. Taekwondo is only kicking? No way, man. No way. You're thinking of Tai Chi? Tai Chi is like yoga, right? Tai Bo is like Zumba. And Danny DeVito is Torgo. Common is Stonekeeper. Tai Bo made me feel old. Is that a Train lyric? She does Tai Bo, reminds me that there's a room to grow. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell me. I mean, any martial art in which I come in contact with somebody, there's a serious chance of injury or death, I would definitely say. Now, this one I'm going to catch some heat for, or maybe I'm not. I'm not good at tennis. But by virtue of having played tennis a little bit as a kid and also having played tennis a little bit now as an adult, I'm beating the average 35 or 12-year-old. That's a given. Because I just got through a tennis class with the average 35-year-old essentially, and I was kind of rinsing them, to be honest with you. They weren't even holding the racket right. They were hitting the shots all open. They were going into outer space. Okay, no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm saying I am ass at tennis, but I am beating the average 35-year-old North American man at tennis. Okay, because I already have. This is a given. Velodrome, it's over. I don't know what I've done. I don't know. I've broken the tier list. The mouse down state. No. Screenshot, you're going to have to refresh. Someone said, why are you comparing yourself to the average 35-year-old? It's the Olympics. If I could be the average Olympian in any of this shit, I would be in the Olympics, motherfucker. You idiot. Obviously. Come on, you just got to ask yourself like the obvious question when you write stuff like that. I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Paris right now. It's just a nonsense comment. Is there anything I can... Does anybody know JavaScript? Or Tahiti, true. Or Tahiti. Hang on, let me hit this for a second. Imagine if I refresh and I didn't lose my stats. Yes! Rugby should be under injury or death? What are you talking? If I'm playing against 12-year-olds, I'm killing them in rugby, man. Who's going to injure me? If I don't injure myself in rugby, the average 12-year-old is not injuring me. Then put judo there? No, I'd be hurt badly. Okay, this is the other form of diving. No, this is trampoline, man. I didn't get to stunt, but let's be honest. In the velodrome, that's basically like competitive Peloton. I think you don't even have to steer because it's on an angle, right? You pretty much just pedal straight ahead. It's probably easy. Okay. Trampoline. You need experience, though? Not really, because I'm going up against the average 35-year-old. I don't think I'm dying in trampoline. I'm kind of throwing this to the same axioms as speed climbing and surfing. I think if you were good enough to get insane height on the trampoline, you could definitely die. But I just don't think I possess the ability to get high enough on a trampoline to do serious damage to myself. Nah, you know what? I think you're right. I thought about it for a second. I was like, could I bounce up and down on a trampoline without hurting myself? Yeah. As soon as I try to work in some kind of twist or something, yeah, there's a real risk there. I think that's a good point. You got me. Also, someone in chat said, literally people injure themselves on these like every day, and you're right. that I think in that case I have to just default to Occam's razor. Like there's a park in Richmond that's like one of those indoor trampoline parks. I think like every few years they have like a death. There is no I'm not trying to be like an overprotective parent. I'm not letting my kid go to a birthday party at Richmond Adventure Zone or whatever the heck it's called. Like it just seems like the risk is too high, man. Extreme Air Park. That's too much for me. My dad was a doctor and he never let me on trampolines. The ones with the net, I think is like okay. Like at least you're not gonna like have an America's Funniest Home Videos where you get like off the trampoline and like smash your neck into the concrete or something, but the net is cope. It doesn't hold you. The net makes it 10 times less fun. Yeah, but like probably like 100 times less likely to have a big injury. Yet you get scared on roller coasters. Well, that's like, I mean, fear is not always logical, right? Like when I was a kid, I was paranoid there was going to be an alien invasion, but I wasn't scared when I got into a car. But then like all the Ben Shapiros are like, you should really be scared when you got into a car. Well, you're just not because you're insulated from the excitement, right? Depending on who's driving. But, you know, they in the engineering department, they do a great job of like making you feel like you're not going that fast and there's no like wind whipping through your hair and you don't hear the of like the engine go. You can't like argue your way into like not being afraid. You just got to like desensitize to it. Not to mention like you would basically, your life would be ruined if anytime you got into a car, you were like too afraid to do anything, at least in North America. As someone who works with children, it's an employee problem. Those parks all hire teenagers. Listen, I'm not ragging on the teenagers specifically. I will say you get what you pay for. Like if those parks want to pay people minimum wage, then they're going to get people who are looking for like minimum wage jobs. But I did feel that way when I was at the like enormous bouncy castle in Coquitlam. And I looked at the staff and the staff was all like 15-year-olds on their phones. And I'm like, if shit goes down, we're on our own. Like there's no nurse on hand or like a paramedic or anything. Like you're really like if it starts to deflate and kids start getting lost in the bouncy castle while it deflates, I really think like one of these 10th graders is going to be like, all right, everybody gather up. Like, no, we're we're on our own, okay? And they shouldn't. Like that's, you know. If they did, they would be exceptional, but like it's just a summer job. Anyway, people are going to think that this is like narcissistic, but I'm telling you, I'm beating the average 35-year-old in a triathlon. I could complete a triathlon really slowly. If I make it through the swim, which I think I can do, I'm beating the average 35-year-old in the triathlon. But you can't row? Yeah, they don't have that in the triathlon. You said you couldn't complete a marathon though? Yeah, I can't complete a marathon. That's 26 miles of running, man. That's psychotic. Or walking, true. 26 miles is a lot. You'd suck at the swim? Yes. So would the average 35-year-old man. I'm not even saying I'm more fit than the average 35-year-old man, because fitness has a lot of different criteria. The average 35-year-old man might be able to like heave more bags of cement than me. The average 35-year-old might be able to, I don't know, do the Stairmaster better than me or something like that. But in a fairly raw cardio specific event, I bet on myself over the average 35-year-old. The 1.5 kilometer swim is going to be, that's where we have to pace ourselves. Is it 1.5 kilometers? Someone said it's 400 meters. No, 400 meters. That's like a 6-minute swim or something, isn't it? If you're good. It's 1.5 kilometers. I think I'm making it to the end of the swim and then excelling, like making up some time on the run and then just giving them the bricks on the bike, to be honest with you. Which of these could you beat the Costco dad in? Not this one, for sure. I'm not beating them in clean and jerk. How long is the run in a triathlon? 10 kilometers running? It's light work. Calves would be, I'd probably have shin splints the next day, but that's light work. Volleyball? 40-kilometer ride. I mean, that's no disrespect. That's a joke. That's literally every day, bro. I mean, it's inside, but volleyball. Where did I put beach volleyball? I could beat a 12-year-old. I'll put it here, but like I don't have a ton of confidence in my ability. I do default to the idea that like most adults are never playing volleyball, but you are forced to do so in gym class a lot in high school. So I feel like you have a practice advantage as a 12-year-old for sure. Not true for me. I'm always surprised when I like go to the community center and I see a bunch of like random adults playing volleyball against each other. I'm like, how does that happen, man? I guess they just missed volleyball and they decided to get back into it. Hold on, you got swimming in I could not complete, but then you also have swimming in I could complete, and you also have swimming in I could win with the triathlon. It's because this bitch is 10 kilometers, man. 10-kilometer run, 52 minutes. 10-kilometer swim, cumulative me in my entire life, I've probably swam 10 kilometers. I don't know if I've done much more than that, though. I'm not going to drown because the boat's going to pick me up, but still. Dodgeball? Water polo. Water polo, I could complete it without being injured. Worst injury I'm going to get is I'm going to get hit by the Fokker ball. It's going to hit me in the nose, but as long as I'm medically cleared to compete, I could still compete. Would you beat 12-year-olds in it? I don't have confidence in that, to be honest. So I feel like the more you weigh in the water, the more difficult it is to be agile from like a standing position. You have to tread water in water polo. They're not tippy-toeing on the bottom. You have to tread water for like the whole hour. God is my witness, I thought they were like bouncing off the bottom. Oh, I'm DNF. Again, like they got lifeguards, so I'm not dying. But I got a new respect for water polo, man. That's crazy. That's brutal. Yeah, I mean, I could tread water for a bit, but like not while doing anything else. They're also super rough. They get injured all the time. I don't think I would get injured because I think they would just recognize that I'm not a threat. But like, there's no shot I'm completing it. Weightlifting is kind of like in every single category. I could injure myself doing it, for sure. I could not complete it if I'm trying to pull the weights that they're pulling. I could complete it if I just pulled weights that I was capable of competing. I'm definitely rinsing the average 12-year-old. They just have like a serious endocrinological disadvantage. I'm just gonna be real with you. I mean, I put it here, but like it's the categories are a little bit overlapping sometimes. I'm definitely beating 12-year-olds in this event. And also possibly the average 35-year-old, but I don't know, because like there's some, I mean, it's not average, but there's some big guys out there. On average, the more you weigh, probably the more you can lift, all other things being equal, which they aren't. The average 35-year-old man in North America weighs more than me. I imagine he probably pulls more than me. Handshaking, competitive handshaking. How much weight are you putting up in a clean and jerk type situation? I would start and possibly also finish at 135. I think 135 is realistic. The bar plus a plate on each side. Because when I was lifting, I could shoulder press that for reps for a bit anyway. And then I feel like he's using his legs a little bit. He's using his legs a little bit too. So if you throw your legs in there as well, not 135 kilograms, no, pounds. 135 kilograms, my arms would fall off like an action figure. 135 pounds. Yeah, like 60 kilograms. That's still kind of a lot. When I was like doing 5-3-1, I mean, my squat for my weight, I would say was great. My shoulder press was good, and both my bench and my dead were decroded. That was a long time ago, though. You haven't trained in a long time? That's why I said, but the snatch has more leg work than a strict overhead press, okay? Christian Thibodeau. You can see there's a little bit of lower body work here instead of isolating your lower half so you're only using your shoulders. And, I don't know, your chest. You look like you have a good deadlift build. The problem is, for me, same reason I'm asset climbing, I have like a truly pathetic grip strength. So I do think like hammies wise, like I got the hammies to do a pretty good, I don't know why I'm mousing over this as if this is a deadlift, but I got the hammies for it, but I got bad grip for it. But now I just don't deadlift because I don't want to like slip a disc. I'd rather just, I don't know, be skinny eventually. Wrestling, I'd probably get choked out and die if I had to guess. I don't think there's. Do you beat a 12-year-old? I don't know. So I was 13 in this story, okay? But I went to a high school where it was a very cosmopolitan mix of individuals. It was in a rural area, so there were lots of farmers' kids, but also it was fed by a middle school, accelerated Poindexter nerd program, which is how I ended up being there. And I remember in ninth grade gym class, we were doing a wrestling unit and I got paired up against a farmer's kid. And I just felt like his grip on my wrist. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. I've been playing too many video games. This kid has been birthing calves or something for 8 years. And it's he was destroying me, man. It was a disaster. It was crazy. He had veins popping out of his forearms like he'd been a baker for 30 years. Turns out when you actually use your muscles, they get really strong. Yeah, we know. Sorry, Chad, I'm not talking about the gym. I'm talking about working overtime at the mud factory. You know what I'm saying? You've seen the video, I'm sure. Anyway, I think this is accurate. Olympic sports that would lead to injury or death. Gymnastics, any form of biking involving doing a trick, hitting the water at 100 miles an hour, trying to interface with a horse, any form of wrestling or combat sport, skateboarding, obviously, and trampoline. That seems fair. Could I complete the event? No. I don't think that I could make my arrow hit a target. I think that I would capsize and DNF. I don't think I could get the anaerobic capacity to finish. I don't know what it is. I would have to be rescued by a boat. I don't think I have the anaerobic capacity. Rescued by a boat. Would fall on the squishy mat and probably get a bruise. Wouldn't even make it out to the wave. I would have to be rescued probably. I would get a stitch in my side and have to be rescued. Now, I could compete in basketball. I could survive synchronized swimming because water polo is like an hour, right? Synchronized swimming is like 3 or 4 minutes. I could tread water for that long. Baseball, field hockey, any sport that doesn't involve a long time in the water. Like if you're standing with normal shoes on dry land, I'm making it through the event. What about Paralympics? They would probably all be I could not complete. In good faith. From a seated position, I don't think I could shoot a basketball and get it in the basket. Maybe 3 times in 100 throws. Without being able to generate that force from compression, I don't think so, man. As if you could do it standing. You put me on the free throw line and give me 20 free throws, I'm making 4. It's not good. I bet I'm hitting 4. Underhand? No, man. Skyhook. Wheelchair hockey would be crazy too. Have you ever seen that one, the sled hockey? Okay, Kareem. I know you Googled skyhook. Anyway, I could beat the average 12-year-old in weightlifting, rugby. I don't know why this one's so controversial. You ever see that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're beating up the middle schoolers? Like, this is, admittedly, that's fiction, but that's how that shit would go down. It's over. Unless they were from New Zealand, in which case I resign. But 12-year-old, this was debatable, but in fencing, I thought it was, Chad basically told me you could beat a 12-year-old in fencing. Boxing, it would be ugly. Let's just put it that way. Beach volleyball, I believe. And regular volleyball, I believe. And then, sorry, the average man my age doesn't stand a chance in these 7 out of 100 Olympic sports. Flat land cycling, sprinting, racket sports that aren't table tennis, rhythmic gymnastics was a little bit controversial as well, and the triathlon. Average 35-year-old, okay? It should go without saying, there's no sport here that I could compete in the Olympics. Otherwise, I would be there. I'm like, 30,000 hours away and a time machine. But anyway, okay, good list.